The power of the pivot. Why Black women leaders must leap, lead, and lead on their own terms. Welcome to the Pink Parachute Diaries podcast, where we amplify the voices of Black women who are making waves in their respective fields. Today, I had the extraordinary opportunity to sit down with Margina, a force of nature who has dedicated their life to driving systemic change and empowering Black women to pivot boldly into their purpose. Margina's journey from education to law is a testament to the power of intentional transformation, and their work is literally reshaping how Black women leaders navigate corporate America and beyond. What they shared with me was nothing short of revolutionary, and I'm here to pass that wisdom on to you. So let's talk about something we don't discuss enough, the pivot, not the cute little career adjustment where you switch departments and call it growth. I'm talking about the real pivot, the one that makes your stomach drop, the one where you look at everything you've built, everything you sacrificed for, and you say out loud or in your head, no, this isn't it anymore. And then somehow you find the audacity to walk away. Here's the thing nobody tells you about pivoting. It's terrifying. It's supposed to be. Because if it wasn't scary, it wouldn't be worth doing. And for Black women, the stakes are even higher. We're not just pivoting for ourselves, we're pivoting while carrying the weight of representation, while navigating systems that were never designed for us, while being told that we should be grateful just to have a seat at the table, even if that seat is wobbly, even if nobody's listening when we speak. Margina understands this intimately. Their decision to leave education and pursue law wasn't just a career move, it was an act of resistance. It was a declaration that they refused to accept the limitations placed on them by a system that undervalued their contributions. And in doing so, they didn't just change their own trajectory, they created a roadmap for countless other Black women who are standing at that same crossroads, wondering if they have what it takes to leap. Let me tell you about something that's changing lives right now. There's a program designed specifically for Black women executives who are ready to make that leap, but need clarity, confidence, and community to do it. It's called the Visible Executive Career Pivot Group Coaching Program. And here's what happens when you're a Black woman in leadership: you work twice as hard, you deliver exceptional results, and somehow you're still overlooked when it's time for promotions, recognition, or that golden parachute everyone else seems to get. Meanwhile, you watch mediocrity get rewarded and you start to wonder if maybe you're the problem. Spoiler alert, you're not. The women who enter this program are facing real challenges. They're undervalued in their organizations. They're uncertain about how to translate their experience into new opportunities. They're exhausted from fighting to be seen. But what they leave with is transformative, a clear, actionable plan for their next chapter, a powerful leadership narrative that centers their value, and a support network that doesn't disappear when the program ends. Alumni have secured new leadership positions, gained board appointments, and most importantly, they've reclaimed their confidence. They've learned to advocate for themselves without apology. They've stopped waiting for permission to be great. And that shift, that internal revolution is where the magic happens. And that's the first thing I want you to remember: the power of the pivot. It's not just possible, it's necessary. Black women must recognize that making intentional, bold shifts in their careers or personal lives is how we grow, how we create impact, and how we refuse to be confined by systems that don't value us. Embracing self awareness and confidence empowers you to leap, lead, and leave when the time is right, just like Margina did. But here's where it gets complicated, because pivoting isn't just about leaving, it's about knowing what you're moving toward. And that requires something most of us don't spend enough time cultivating: self awareness. I want you to think about the last time someone asked you what you really wanted, not what you think you should want, not what would make your family proud or look good on your professional profile. What do you actually want? And did you have an answer or did you freeze because you spent so much time trying to fit into spaces that weren't built for you that you forgot to ask yourself that question? This is where value driven leadership comes in. And it's the second thing I need you to hold on to. Achieving your goals often means stepping outside your comfort zone and challenging systems that undervalue your contributions. Margina's journey demonstrates that leadership isn't about keeping your head down and hoping someone notices your hard work. It's about identifying what isn't working, proposing solutions, and seeking new skills to advocate for equity and justice. That's why they pursued a law degree, not because education wasn't enough, but because they recognized that to drive the systemic change they envisioned, they needed new tools, new language, new power. Let me tell you about another woman who embodies this. Through the work of Coach Akbar Sultan, women leaders, many of them women of color, are learning to develop emotional intelligence, advocate for themselves, and transition successfully into higher leadership roles. These women face a lack of organizational training. They face higher expectations than their counterparts. They struggle to make their voices heard in rooms where they're constantly talked over. And they're balancing all of this with family responsibilities that somehow never seem to be a factor when we're talking about male executives. But here's what happens when they get the right support: they build self awareness, they learn to seek sponsors, not just mentors. They champion their ideas with confidence, and they start showing up in high stakes environments as the leaders they've always been. The outcomes are stunning. Promotions to positions they were told they weren't ready for, invitations to keynote major conferences, increased influence within their organizations, and perhaps most importantly, better work life balance, because leadership shouldn't require you to sacrifice your humanity. These women were initially overlooked. They were talked over in meetings. They were struggling to be recognized for contributions that were undeniable until they learned to own their narrative and advocate for themselves. And that's the shift, that's the pivot. It's not just about changing positions, it's about changing how you see yourself and demanding that others see you the same way. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. This sounds great, but I'm alone in this. I don't have a network. I don't have mentors who look like me. I don't have a roadmap. And that brings me to the third thing I need you to remember: community and support matter. No one rises alone. Building a strong network of like minded professionals and mentors is crucial for accountability, visibility, and ongoing growth. Programs designed for Black women leaders, like executive career pivot groups, provide the clarity, confidence, and community needed to sustain momentum through transitions. Let me tell you about Patrice Williams Lindo, CEO of Career Nomad. Patrice has built an entire career on empowering professionals, especially Black women, to navigate career pivots and organizational change. Their clients face stagnant growth. They face a lack of innovation in their roles. They're trying to adapt to rapidly changing professional landscapes while feeling like they're doing it alone. But Career Nomad offers strategy sessions, coaching, and thought leadership rooted in organizational psychology and instructional technology. And the results speak for themselves. Clients report increased confidence, successful transitions into new industries, and greater alignment between their values and career paths. Patrice's own journey from consulting to organizational leadership inspired them to create a platform that demystifies career pivots and champions innovation. And Career Nomad has helped countless professionals, particularly Black women, achieve significant career milestones and become agents of change in their fields. Because when you have community, when you have people who understand your journey, who celebrate your wins and hold you accountable through your struggles, everything changes. You stop feeling like you're fighting alone. You start realizing that your story is part of a larger movement. And that's what the Pink Parachute Diaries is all about. We're here to challenge the status quo. We're here to acknowledge the disparity that exists where talented Black women are handed pink slips while underperforming counterparts are rewarded with golden parachutes. We're here to celebrate the triumphs of Black women, share their stories, and provide valuable insights to inspire others. Here's something I need you to understand. The system isn't broken. It's working exactly as it was designed. And that design didn't include us. So when we talk about pivoting, we're not just talking about individual career moves. We're talking about a collective refusal to play by rules that were written to keep us small, quiet, and grateful for scraps. Every time a Black woman pivots into her purpose, she's not just changing her own life, she's disrupting a system. She's proving that excellence doesn't need permission. She's creating a path for the next woman who's standing at that same crossroads, terrified but ready. And I want to be clear about something. This isn't about being perfect. This isn't about having it all figured out before you make a move, because if you wait for that, you'll be waiting forever. Perfect conditions don't exist. And the women who are making these pivots, who are securing these leadership positions, who are starting these businesses, they're not doing it because they have all the answers. They're doing it because they decided their dreams were worth the risk. Think about the woman sitting in that visible program right now, rewriting her leadership narrative. She's not there because she failed. She's there because she succeeded in a system that still didn't value her, and she decided that wasn't good enough. She's there because she recognized that her worth isn't determined by whether someone gives her a promotion. It's determined by whether she's living in alignment with her values and her vision. Think about the woman working with Akbar Sultan, learning to advocate for herself in rooms where she used to shrink. She's not there because she lacks confidence. She's there because she's tired of watching less qualified people get opportunities she earned. She's there because she decided that being talked over wasn't acceptable anymore. Think about the woman working with Patrice Williams Lindo at Career Nomad, mapping out her transition into a new industry. She's not there because she's running away from something. She's there because she's running towards something bigger, something that aligns with who she's becoming, not who she used to be. These women are my heroes, not because they're extraordinary in some unreachable way, but because they're ordinary women who decided to do something extraordinary. They decided to bet on themselves. And that's the most revolutionary act a Black woman can commit in a world that constantly tells her she's not enough. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to take one bold step towards your pivot, just one. Whether it's updating your leadership story, reaching out to a mentor, or applying for a new opportunity, commit to a concrete action that moves you closer to your next chapter. The journey starts with self awareness and the confidence to act. Don't wait for perfect conditions to leap, because here's the truth: you already have everything you need. You have the experience, you have the skills, you have the vision. What you might be missing is permission. And I'm here to tell you that you don't need it. You never did. The pivot isn't just a career move, it's a reclamation of your power. It's a refusal to accept limitations. It's a bold declaration that you will lead on your own terms. Leave when it's time and leap into the future you deserve. Margina. Margina didn't wait for permission. The women in the Visible program didn't wait. The clients working with Akbar Sultan and Patrice Williams Lindo didn't wait. They decided that their impact, their purpose, their lives were worth the risk. And so are yours. I want you to feel something right now. I want you to feel the weight of what's possible. I want you to feel the power of community, of women who look like you, who understand your struggle, who are cheering for your success. I want you to feel seen because you are. Your experiences matter, your aspirations matter, your pivot matters. And when you make that leap, when you finally step into the fullness of who you're meant to be, you're not just changing your own trajectory, you're changing the trajectory for every Black woman who comes after you. You're proving that we don't have to accept the limitations placed on us. You're demonstrating that leadership looks like us, sounds like us, and succeeds because of us, not in spite of us. So, go ahead, take that step, make that call, send that message, update that resume, apply for that position, start that business, whatever your pivot looks like. Start it today, not tomorrow, not when conditions are perfect, today, because the world doesn't need you to be perfect. The world needs you to be brave. The world needs you to be bold. The world needs you to be you in all your complicated, powerful, brilliant glory. The sky isn't the limit. It never was. You were born to fly beyond what anyone told you was possible. And your pivot, your leap, your audacious refusal to stay small, that's your wings. Now fly